people, it's Tatyanamonee, and I am here to bring you another episode of Talk to Tat. Real people, real talk, real life. I hope everybody had a good week. I enjoy mine. I started some new ventures and had some new networking opportunities that came up for me, so no complaints on that end. It did connect to the content that I wanted to talk about in this episode, though, and that is navigating relationships with women, strategies for positive interactions. That's a little thick, ain't it? Yeah, you'll be all right. And I'm going to be hooking. So if you are watching the video version of this episode, I wanted to try something a little bit different. I don't want to just be sitting here talking all the time. I want to be able to hook or sip or do something creative. So just get used to that. And I think that will also drown out some of the back noise until I pick another destination to record besides my home that y'all have been hearing sometimes, like my dog or my neighbor walking around. You know what I mean? Because I live in an apartment. So anyway, you will hear the hooking. You will see the hooking, you know. So for those of y'all that's listening to the audio version, you'll hear the brrr going in. Anyway, so back to the topic at hand. I think of this in three ways. When you're navigating relationships with women, you got some dope aspects to it, right? So, and I call those like what's hot. Okay. And then the second layer to this is going to be what's not. What are we not taking with us through 2024 and beyond, you know? And then the third part to this is what are the strategies for the gap? Minding that connection or disconnect between what's hot and what's not. You feel me? So what's hot about navigating relationships with women? We are some bomb superhero creatures, okay? And I'm not just saying that because I am a female. I'm not biased. It's a fact. Not only can we handle a lot of emotional strain and duress, but we also can multitask. So we could be going through something and still function at work. We could be in the middle of an argument, but still planning out what we're doing for the week. Like, it's so easy for us to compartmentalize, right? Another thing that's really, really hot is how we come together in a time of need. Women are really quick to support other women. Now, I'm not talking about the exceptions to the rule. I'm specifically talking about the good parts, like when things are working, when things are in sync. So we come together, we support each other, especially when we can identify on some sort of common ground. We show up in numbers. I mean, and it's a giving spirit that we have. I love that. I love seeing our women in action. We know how to show up for one another in a time of need. And sometimes that need doesn't have to be expressed or communicated. It's like, it's just understood. You know, I'm just doing this for my sis. I love that. Another thing that's really hot about us is that we promote autonomy. We love to have our own essence, our own signature. Now, granted, you got some common birds out there. We ain't talk about them. But when you find a woman that activates her uniqueness, it sets her apart from the rest. You know, like, for instance, with me, I march to the tune of my own drum. I don't rise up to the status quo. I'm in my own lane, and I'm proud of that. I know that there's a lot of clothing materials or shoes or whatever that I'm into that most, if not all of my friends are not into. And I'm okay with that. Like, side note, my besties know that I have this pair of light up gym shoes. And they hate them. They hate them, but they love it for me. Granted, they clown me. You know what I mean? Especially when they be like, okay, do it, click them. And you know, my little like, come on. Like, that's a little, I like nostalgic things. So I, you know, back in the 90s, most kids who grew up in the 90s, you had some light up shoes. Well, guess what? They got them for adults too. It ain't no age limit on some light up shoes. My shoes are dope. I don't care what nobody say. But anyway, that's just one aspect of just sticking to my guns. You know, like, I like stuff that stands out. I don't have a signature style. My style is me. So like some women, they like to dress in a certain theme. And I think that's pretty dope too. Like, we are all willing to be autonomous and march to the tune of our own drum. I love that. We endure so much. We are great at building. We know how to connect. We know how to elevate. And when that's turned on, we conquer. We commit. We thrive. And that's a whole vibe. Like, it ain't nothing like being a woman. It ain't nothing like having a woman in your life. When it's the right one. When you got that right female, I don't care if it's your bestie, your mom, your sis, your spouse, whatever. When you got a good one in your life, it hit different. You feel like you got some type of security, some type of safety blanket, or some type of, just a additive, something with substance. You know what I mean? And I really want that to continue to metastasize in the world today, because it's so needed. And that leads me to the second part, which is what's not. This is not a bashing session, but we here to be real, right? Real people, real talk, real life. Okay. And because I am a female, I'm speaking from my own truth, from my own experiences and encounters with people. We women, and I'm going to say we, because we all have been guilty of it in one way or another. Women can be so bitter. It's nasty. It's a bad taste in your mouth. Women being bitter can lead to a lot of catastrophe. For instance, and this might be a soft spot for a lot of y'all, dealing with your baby daddies. Granted, can't personally relate, but the dudes that I know in my life, I see what they go through. Y'all put them through hell. I'm going to puff on that one. Y'all put them through it, through the ringer, because you're not getting your way, because he don't love you no more, because insert whatever the reason or excuse is. So now you finna bring the pain, finna bring the damage. Like, I've even heard females say, since he don't want me, I want his pockets. You gotta get a job, right? You gotta have your own substance, right? Like, that because the courts tend to rule in the favor of women, which is a little biased. I mean, somebody had to carry the child by science. It had to be one person or the other. So you feel like because you're the mom, that means that the dude owes you everything. But it took two. Yeah, the men don't carry, but the men are out there working while you at home on maternity leave. They are expected to provide. They can't have a moment where they're down and out. You expecting them to come through and just always be good and then accept you when you not good or when you in a bad mood or whatever. It's like that sense of entitlement is unrealistic if you're not bringing anything to the table. If you're not maintaining what's already in place at home. You not the only prize. Dudes are prizes too. Like, cause you will want that, right? You will want to feel like your man is a prize too. Like, I have a good man. You know what I mean? So why taint that whole dynamic of a relationship with a man or a significant other if you're not into dudes, all of that. Y'all get it. When things don't work out your way, figure it out, move around. It's not easy, but it is doable. It's feasible. It's possible. But for you to be bitter and harbor that hatred and that disdain in your heart like that, you're not cute. It's not appropriate, and you're not setting a good example for your sisters that's watching you and for your kids that have to be raised by you. And for society that got to deal with you, us taxpayers over here. I don't want to deal with your grumpiness when I pick up the phone calling customer service because Ray don't want you no more. I'm going to puff on that. I don't have nothing to do with that by any means necessary. Stop being so bitter. That's one thing. Another thing, women are so competitive. Whatever you searching for out there in them streets, sis, You ain't gonna find it. You have to get with yourself first. Whatever you love about you or whatever you want to work on so you can turn it into something you love, that's where your mind needs to be at. It's not in the next sis. Stop getting in other people's way so that you can have your way. That's not how that work. That's not how that work. Like where I work at now, you got some females up in there, like prime example, okay. On my first day of training, imagine I don't know anybody. I said hi to this one girl. And I said girl because that wasn't a woman. A woman would have respectfully answered and said hello. I said, hey, how are you? I'm all chipper and stuff. And she hi. It's almost like we in elementary school and a new girl come. You got some that hate and some that don't. Like, what is wrong with you, baby? And how that made me think, how old are you? Act your age. If we're playing sports, that's the time to be competitive. If we're vying for a position at work, mind you, she already had her job. If we're vying for a position at work, that's the time to have some sense of competitiveness. But just to be competing with people who don't even know you, how you sound, boo? Your elevator don't go all the way to the top. That you're not gonna win. You're competing in a race that you're running by yourself. Stop trying to hate and bash and down the next female. If she look cute, she look cute. Give her credit. You want yours. If she winning, okay. If she got it, okay. And a lot of times people put out what's not really happening. So, and that shouldn't be the focus either. It shouldn't be, yeah, she putting it out there that she got all this and that, but I'm sure it ain't. That's the devil, honey. Ain't nothing godly about that. You know, you have to really sit and think about where that come from. Who hurt you? Because whoever did, they did a really good job. And I'm going to pray for you. And I feel so sorry for you. I really, really do. Because you don't know what it took for a woman to get to where she got. You don't know what she came from. You don't know what she survived through. And you have the nerve to try to dampen that. Who are you? No. And that's how you block your own blessings. You know what I mean? The same thing what you do with these dudes. Like, people are not responsible for what you went through. You got to figure that out or chalk it up to the people who did it to you. That's how that works. Not the rest of us out here trying to find our own way. You know what I mean? And outside of bitterness and competitiveness, another thing that women tend to do is be very catty. I can't stand it. Yes, pettiness is necessary in some instances, especially when it's all in good fun. Or if you got to remind somebody this is a boundary. Please don't. But when ain't nobody cross no line, what are you doing? Like, do you need something? Do you want some help? Are you bored? Like, but the cattiness and the gossip, if you have that much time to dedicate to focusing on other people, I'm sure there's something else in your life that you could transfer that energy back to. I'm almost certain. And if you need help trying to unpack that, hey, book me. I'm a life coach. I'm certified. I've been certified since 2018. I got you. Just contact me on Pathos Development Group on Instagram. Okay. I got you, sis. But knock it off. It's tacky. It's childish. One of my best friends, she uses that word all the time. Childish. It's so childish. Don't do that. Don't live your life like that, because then you'll continue to be stuck in the space that you're at, wondering why you're there. You know what I mean? And that leads me to the next thing. Sometimes women can be very delusional. You say you want the truth, but then you can't handle it. I know that's a big one for guys. I know it. I got y'all back in some instances. Just like I got, us women, I have our back too. Like, I'm a very 50-50, like whatever is fair type of person. I try to be as unbiased as I possibly can, because I mean, one side ain't gonna fully understand the other side. You know what I mean? Like, we're meant to be different, and certain aspects of where we come from are meant to be understood. And that's not just between men and women, that's women within women as well. You know what I mean? But man, we could be delusional trying to make relationships work that have failed a long time ago. I'm puffing on that one. I'm gonna puff again. I sure am. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know. You know, Daquan, Marquise, Bay, whatever Bay name is. You know, it's time for you to get off that ride. It ain't that no more. Potential cannot be the deciding factor. Just love alone can't be the deciding factor. Sis, give it up. It ain't that no more. And it doesn't mean that if you give up or do away with something that it may not be for you later on down the road. It happens. People do it all the time. Like, some people go back to old jobs that they used to work. People move back to cities that they used to live in. People get back together with people that they previously broke up with, because you need that time and that separation to really work on yourself without the distraction of that other person or the things that y'all put upon each other that you shouldn't have done. It's okay. And sometimes it's meant for y'all to just stay apart. You know, like, it's okay too, because the world's still gonna continue to turn, whether you moving with it and riding the wave or not. But you gotta sit in reality a lot more. It's okay to dream about things that you should be dreaming about, but living your life all gullible and naive, it's not gonna work. Trying to have a baby with a dude and think that that's gonna make him stick around. I'm a puff again. Don't hate me on this episode. Don't hate me. Don't hate me. Trust me, the men episode coming too. So, and I better get the same type of tune and image. And I made that up. Anyway. Yeah, I'm striking some chords. But it's okay, because I've been able to open up to y'all about things that have been going on with me that were triggers or, you know, just deep. So it got to come full circle. It got to come not just from me, but, you know, putting it out there for y'all too, because I know it's people that's going to be able to relate to and use this content. But yeah, wake up, sis. Stop trying to believe the hype. it ain't that no more. The hype died down. The party ended a long time ago. It's time for you to go home. Stop holding on to that stuff. We hold on to so much. We labor under the delusions of our passions sometimes. It's not to say you shouldn't be passionate. It means add some realistic and rational elements to what you're activating when it comes to your passion. You can be passionate about a person all day, but if that person is detrimental to you, or that relationship is not working, or whatever your endeavor is not panning out, you have to reevaluate and change how you move so that things can get better. You can't just keep looping in that cycle, doing the same things over and over and expecting a different result. We know what that is. Insanity. Don't do it. It ain't cute. Insane asylums are not cute. I mean, haven't you noticed they don't advertise the inside of insane asylums? You get to see cruises. You get to see hotels and resorts and all of that. They're not advertising what the inside of an insane asylum look like for a reason. It ain't cute. So stop acting crazy. Please stop acting crazy. But yeah, stop being delusional. If you want the truth, you got to be able to handle it. If something is telling you that it walked like a duck, quacked like a duck, and got the feathers, stop trying to call it a chicken. It's a duck. Please. Stop. You know. And the last thing that's like a knot that I care to share, because we could talk about it all day, right? On both ends, dudes too, is women can be so critical to where it's hypocritical. You got to be able to take what you dish out. You have to. You can't go on these long rants and then expect for people to not reciprocate their monologue. You know what I mean? You can't come home and just have a bad day and expect for someone to understand. But then when somebody is displaying their misplaced anger towards you, you throw a tantrum. You got to make it make sense. Fair is fair. Fair is fair. It ain't always about our period and we PMSing. We grown. We got to learn how to handle it. Put your big girl underwear on and move along. It's okay, chica. It's okay. Some things are not a battle. Sometimes it's not about winning a war because it ain't no war. 9 times out of 10, if you eat a good meal, relax for a second without being interrupted, go to sleep and wake up, you will feel completely different about whatever it is that got you going through it right now. I guarantee it. In that order, eat you a good meal, probably have some libation, preferably wine, or tequila. I say it's tequila, but tequila. Get you some rest and relaxation without any interrupting edge from anybody. Go to sleep and wake up. You will feel better. Why? Because those are the things that get in the way a lot of times with us women. And that leads to the last component of what I'm talking about is strategies on that gap, on what's hot and what's not with navigating relationships with women. To have more positive interactions with one another. And it's not just about men treating us good. It's about women treating other women good and also women treating ourselves good. You have to make time for self-care. That's number one. Self-care is essential because if you're not good and if you can't show up, everything else that you have committed to or are connected to, it's not going to get the best you. You're not going to be able to function properly or at an optimal level. You're already operating off of a disservice to yourself. Why would you want to start off like that? That's like you start the race. They shot the gun. Everybody took off and broke stag coming out the blocks, but you still back there at the starting line. I used to run track. You gone. You can't get them seconds back. Like unless you saying boat. You know what I mean? But you have to give time to yourself. Figure it out. Create what they call it in entertainment. We call it a production clock. Literally every day, whether it's television, radio, there is a production clock that every aspect of the day is mapped out down to the minute. Put yourself on a production clock. Carve out some time for some self-care, whether that's a bath, a glass of wine, watch your favorite program, sit in your prayer room, call your friend, whatever that is, smoke a wonderfully made hookah. A flavor combination, small tangent, that I recommend for you guys because I smoke the tobacco and nicotine free hookah shisha because I'm not into like all the smoking and all of that stuff. But hookah is pretty cool. And then you can put a lot of natural stuff in it for those of y'all that are not really into hookah like that. But the combination of shisha that I recommend is from a brand called Tanya, Tanya. It's sold on Amazon and it's also sold in some vape shops and smoke shops. But it's the blueberry mint mixed with this one flavor that they have called Crazy Nun. I don't know what's in there. I don't care. I just know whatever fruits they have combined, it's amazing. It's so necessary. It's so worth it. And sometimes what I do with my hookah too is I'll put a tea bag in the water basin, or I will put some flavor syrup. Home Goods has some really good like 0-calorie flavor syrups. Give it a try. Anyway, you're welcome. Off that tangent. So 1, self-care. 2, maintain healthy, reasonable relationships and communication levels with the people in your circle and adjust accordingly. If you know that you and a particular friend tend to bump heads on certain things, talk to friend, figure out what it is, get to the root of it, create some boundaries and compromise or whatever it is. Come to a meeting of the minds, figure it out. So that way you can eliminate this static. You know what I mean? And you can apply that concept to anybody, whether it's your significant other, your parent, your sibling, whatever. But work on your healthy relationships so that you can have more positive interactions. Another thing, support your sis. You can't sit here and seek support and you don't reciprocate it. It may not come natural to some of y'all, but if it don't, then naturally expect not to get it back. I'm just saying, you know, a friend of mine said earlier, he's a behavioral analyst. Shout out to my friend Julio. We went to Clark Atlanta together. He said, your energy should be exclusive, expensive, and a privilege. Think about it. And how he conceptualized this was, think about your lights, your gas. You got to pay that every month or else it will be shut off, right? The rates go up. Unless you're on a flat fixed bill, your rates go up. They telling you what you need to pay for stuff that you're using. Same concept. Your energy is expensive. It is a privilege and it is exclusive. Not everybody deserves it, but whoever you give it to, it has to have been earned. Because how are you going to continue to regenerate? And we're not talking about the physics part where energy can't neither be created nor destroyed. We're talking about it from a non-physics standpoint. Yeah, your girl's smart. Don't sleep on me. And if you do, you know, you'll hit the alarm button soon. It'll be okay. But yes, navigate your energy, harness it, make sure that you are adequately allocating it to where it needs to go so that you're not depleting yourself so much. And when you do that and you work on your relationships with other people, then your interactions will be better. Then you won't have to second guess being supportive. It'll come naturally to you. You can support someone without thinking of what you're lacking, whether you have it or not. It's because you have a genuine interest, like, oh, I see sis doing this, or I'm gonna like her picture, or I'm gonna come to this event, or I'm gonna compliment her. Because it's not taxing you. It shouldn't tax you, especially when you expect it. Don't be an entitled hypocrite. That's not cute. It's not. Another thing that will help with having a positive interaction with women, really handle honesty. It's not going to be pretty. Honesty it should not be gridlocked in this depiction of it being perfect, prim, proper, pretty, or well defined. Honesty is raw. Honesty is heartfelt. Honesty is intense. And as fiercely intense as we are as women, we have to be able to take what we dish out. We have to be able to reciprocate. You have to have that discernment to know when is something in need of being digested or discarded. Do you take it in or do you dish it out? It will really help you. I promise it will. Another thing that will help with maintaining positive relationships and interactions with women, my father said this. He said, do things out of love. When a woman loves herself, you can tell because it's in her very essence. It's how she walks. It's how she moves. It's how she commands a room's attention without even having to speak. She embodies it. It's so noticeable. And sometimes when other women who can't measure up to that or who haven't acquired it just yet are in that room, in a way you kind of see their light dim. Yeah, and we've all been there in one way or another, whether it's exposed externally or not. But love yourself, and accept the love that's trying to be given to you. That's a big one. It's a lot of women out here that won't let people love them back. I'm gonna puff on that. You have to let love in, boo. It's a beautiful thing. It might be a bit abnormal, or it may shift you out of your comfort zone, but that's okay. You had to come into this world either through a cesarean or through the canal. That was uncomfortable. So if your mom could handle that, you can handle this. You'll be okay. But you have to let love in. You have to unharden your heart, because you're still living amongst other human beings, and we human beings are sentient. You have to be able to tap into that, because if not, you're going to constantly be put through trials and tribulations that are going to test against that. If you won't move, the Lord gonna make you move, or you're going to miss out. And you might think that if it's okay because you've been doing without whatever, but when you are really without love, you question your whole identity with that. You know, like there's some people out there, like I watch a lot of emotional, like life coaching and reality type of stuff, not ratchet TV. I'm talking about the other stuff. And to hear some people who really, really want love in their life and they're searching for it, and people who they run into aren't giving it. And I'm not talking about strangers. I'm talking about like family members and, you know, other loved ones and stuff like that. And they don't have that. It breaks them, because they're looking like, what did I do to deserve not to be loved? But when someone is trying to love you, and I'm not talking about that love that is really masked abuse. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about people taking advantage of you. Like, you don't love me, you supposed to help me out. You don't love me, like I told you I need you to do this when I need you to do this. Like, no one's ever gonna love you like how I love you. No. Love don't show up like that. That's not what that is, and that's not what that means. I'm talking about no matter what version of you shows up, those people are still coming to bat for you. Those people are still trying to support you. Those people are still trying to show you that there's going to be a brighter and better day. That's love. I'm talking about you even having to say something, somebody coming through for you. I'm talking about that type of stuff. Let them people in. I know us women, we deal with postpartum, we deal with PTSD, we deal with all sorts of trauma and baggage and hurt and setbacks and constructs and stereotypes, just you name it. The last thing we need to do is impose even more on ourselves or block ourselves off from anything that can alleviate all of that. Pour into yourself. And the beauty of that is sometimes it don't have to come from just you. You actually have people ready and willing to love you. But first you got to start with yourself. God already loves you. God already loves you. You got to love yourself, or whatever you believe in. Allah, Buddha, you know, whatever. Name all the versions of God. But you're not going to get to that finish line or to that next step that you anticipate getting to until you do some self-checking. You really got to sit with yourself. And that's another thing, too, that will help us with our interactions with other women, is having a level of understanding. I didn't say agreement. You have to be willing to understand something, even if that's not a decision you would make. Because we are autonomous, right? So the same applies to other people in regards to you too. It goes hand in hand. Everything is a give and take, a yin and yang. It's a connected cycle that we're in with so many different layers to it. Spiritual, natural, like that's a whole nother episode. But ladies, tap in. Tap in. Like building with another female, you feel it's a spirit within that. You know what I mean? Like I went to a networking event the other day, and I went to it was a Black owned, woman owned business, and just how everything was executed and how women were walking in with this instant sense of, you belong here. Welcome. What can we do for you? Let me tell you what I'm about. Let's try to partner together. Like it's nothing but good juices flowing. When you put positivity out there, it's going to perpetuate. It is. It is. No matter how minuscule or grandiose. But you gotta start. You gotta take that step. It's a beautiful thing to see us in action when we're coming together, when we're supporting each other, when we're loving on one another, when we're loving ourselves, when we're allowing love to come in. I guarantee y'all, these are things that I have done. I don't have any bitterness for anybody in my life. I promise you I don't. Not even if you watch that last episode when I said I loathe that one teacher that I had. I may loathe him. Like he irked my soul. You know what I mean? And he made me angry. But I'm not activated with bitterness to where it consumes me and what I do. And that's essentially what I mean about bitterness. Because when we women are bitter, our whole action, our disposition, all of that is governed by whatever has that emotional hold on us. It's not to say you're not upset. It's not to say you're not disappointed. It means this is not controlling me. I am not a puppet to this. I'm not going to sit here and tell a woman to just let stuff go. I don't think that's fair yet, depending on what stage of healing you're in. What I will say is this. Deal with it. Navigate it. Analyze it. Face it. Get help with it. I've done it. I'm doing it. As things pop up, I have to revisit one of those elements. None of that means I've taken a step back in my progress as a human being. It just means I'm still human in my healing. I cannot say that enough. But it's not required of us to be so difficult all the time. Okay, we might be misunderstood. Okay, we might be emotional. And let me go to a side note here. Not even a side note. Another element to some effective strategies. This is going to have to come from people who are not women. Give us a break. You want to navigate relationships with women better, and you want to figure out how to have positive interactions with us? Give us a break. Puffing on that. Stop making excuses. Help us out around the house. You want me to say that again? Help us out around the house. Help us with these daggone kids. Treat us sometimes. And I'm not saying that these things are not done. But what I'm saying is when it's lacking, these are some things that we women, we thrive off of it. Like if we come home to a massage and a meal, we like, what you need? What you want me to do? I'm here for you now. What's up? Spend time with us. That's another thing. Spend time with us. I'm not saying be a leech and be all in my skin or whatever. Like, cause some women, have a little tomboy in them where they're like, I love you, but just be on the other side of the room. You don't have to be next to me. I get it. but you can still spend time with them without being glued to the tissue. You know what I mean? The connective tissue in the skin. Spend time with us. See us. We women want to be seen. We women want to be heard. It's this dude on TikTok. I know I'm going to butcher the pronunciation of his name, and I don't mean to, but it's Masiano or whatever, Masiano, Masionoo or whatever it is. Anyway, that dude be spitting some game on, and I don't even want to call it game. He be dropping gems on how to relate to women. Some men might think, whatever. But from a woman's perspective, I'm like, wow, either he was raised by women or he actually took the time to try to understand us and work with us, not have dominion over us and not allow us to have dominion over them. I don't believe in that neither. I do believe that there should be some level of subserviency when it comes to you and your spouse. And I'm only talking about spousal, or significant other type of stuff. You have to be willing to be vulnerable with that person and vice versa. That person should be able to trust you to lead when it's your turn and vice versa. That person should trust you to be able to do the opposite when it's not your turn. It goes hand in hand. But listen to that young man or grown man with, I don't know his age, but listen to him on stuff like that, dudes. Like, or women who date women, whoever, and insert all of that. Give us some time. Listen to us. Hear us. See us. Certain things don't have to be so concrete. Like, if you see that the clothes need to be washed, wash the clothes. If you see that neither one of y'all ate since y'all got home, start the meal. If you see that the bathroom is dirty, clean the bathroom. It's your house too. Like, now, if she's at home and y'all have that dynamic where she handles the inside and you handle the outside, okay. But try to find another way to see her. Maybe she need a game night. Maybe she need a night outside. You can even have a little date set up in the yard, whatever. But spend time with us. That don't necessarily mean it's just all this doting and you don't get anything reciprocated. No, I promise you, when a woman feels seen in whatever relationship she's in, I don't care if it's a platonic one, she show up full out. Full out. She's just as excited about what you got going on as if it applies to her. I'm that way with my friends. My friends tell me they got something new or they accomplished something. I'm over here, yay, when we celebrating. And it wasn't even me. But if my people winning, I'm winning. Why? Because there's room at the table for everybody to eat. It is. And the more people there are, and I said this before in a previous episode, the more table space is automatically made. We just got to pull up our own chair. But if somebody trying to create some elbow room, knock them out or go on to another part of the table, because it's still room for everybody. Period. But a lot of this is just about self-regulation, emotional regulation, and honestly, and I'm not trying to rhyme, group facilitation. Cluing people in on these mutualistic relationships that you have, and y'all working on this stuff together. None of this is a one-sided or one-way thing. We women have things that we need to work on for ourselves. And of course, everything can't be covered, in this one episode. But we know that some of us activate that, some don't. But on the flip side of that, some people have to allow us to just be. Please. The world is already hard enough. Let me be. If I need a moment, give me a daggone moment. If my hair is not combed, if my eyebrows are not tinted and threaded, if I don't wear a full beat mug, if I didn't get my body done, if I'm out here not driving the newest car, if I don't have an iPhone, If I don't have a mortgage, but I'm renting. If I'm working so many jobs and they're all like not paying like top tier, but it's making ends meet. Let me be for a second, please. Give me some space. Give me some time. It's already hard enough. Why? Because the stigmas are there, right? We cannot be a certain way in the workplace. If we raise our voice, we're an angry black woman, or we're too emotional, or we're on our period. How you gonna just reduce me to my biological functions? That don't make any sense. Or if I'm holding you accountable, now I'm nagging. Because I'm reminding you of what you didn't do. I'm nagging when you could have just did it. How that work? You know? It's a lot. It's a lot. And we women just need support. But we also have to be willing to give out and maintain what we expect to receive and sustain. It all goes hand in hand. It's a dance. It really is. It's a flow. It's a wave. It's not going to always be calm, and it's not going to always be rowdy. But you got to go get in the water. You got to go dance in that rain. You have to, because life ain't stopping. Well, I know I touched on some things that might have been a little, on the sensitive side for some folks, a little comical for others, but in totality, I know I spoke on something real. Take what I said, however you can apply it to yourself to utilize, please do, for the good. Please do. None of what I put out should be used to create any type of hurt or further confusion with things. And as you lock in with me on future episodes, you'll see as I bring people on, we have something to say. Things are happening out here, and it's going to be covered on this show. Trust and believe you me. So until I give you guys another little dose of me next week, I'm going to leave y'all with this. Everything going to be all right. And we going to make it work. We ain't got no choice. So thank y'all for tuning in to this special episode of Talk to Tot, Real People, Real Talk, Real Life, with your amazing host, Tatyanamonee. I look forward to seeing you guys tuning in next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow. My handle on IG is tatyanamonee. My handle on TikTok is Tatyana_Monet. Don't forget to tune into this episode either on YouTube if you want the video version to see beautiful me, or if you are busy and you want to just, listen on the go, tap in on Apple Podcast. I thank you guys. I love you guys. To my women out there, we are awesome. We are phenomenal. We are, in a way, you can't define us. We're just that great. Sometimes it's too great to put into words. And that's a beauty of its own kind. And we need to relish in that. Hold your crown. So, y'all have a good one. I'll see you guys later. Bye.